You probably heard the word API in meetings, in tutorials, in job posts, and lately in context of AI. Maybe a coworker said, just consume the API, like it was the most obvious thing to do, and you just noted, while thinking, I'm not entirely sure what that means. If that's you, I want to tell you, that's normal. A lot of people who use the word API every day would struggle to explain it in a simple way. So that's what we're doing here. By the end of this video, you'll understand what an API is, and you will be able to explain it to others. Here is why it feels confusing. The definition says API stands for Application Programming Interface. Okay, that explains nothing. It's just three abstract words placed next to each other that you now feel like you're supposed to understand. So let's put the official definition aside for a minute. We'll come back to it at the end, and I promise, by then, it will actually make sense. Here's the simplest version. An API allows two pieces of software talk to each other in an organized way. That's it. That's the core idea. One program needs something. Another program has it. The API is the messenger in the middle that carries the request over and brings the answer back. In simple terms, an API is a middleman that lets one program ask another program for something. Hold on to that word, middleman. I want to make it real with the restaurant analogy. You sit down at a restaurant. You're hungry. But you don't walk into the kitchen and start cooking. You don't even talk to the chef directly. Instead, you choose from the menu and tell the waiter. The waiter takes your order to the kitchen. The kitchen makes your food. The waiter brings it back to your table. Notice what you didn't have to do. You didn't need to know how the kitchen works. You just had to make a request, place the order, and the waiter handled the rest. The waiter is the API. In real software, the customer isn't a person, it's an app. With that in mind, the customer is the program that wants something. The kitchen is another program that has it. The waiter is the API. It takes the request, carries it to the kitchen, and brings back what you ask for. The menu matters too. The menu is what you're allowed to ask for. You can't order something that's not on the menu. An API works in the same way. It offers a specific set of things you can request. Let's look at another example, a weather app. It shows 71 degrees in Miami. But where does that number come from? The app didn't measure it. It doesn't have a thermometer. What it can do is ask. The app sends a request through a weather API. What's the temperature in Miami? The weather service sends back the answer. 71 degrees sunny. The app shows it on your screen. That's it. The app made the request, the API carried it, and the answer came back. One thing to clear up. People assume the API is the other program, the weather service or the database, but that's not it. The API isn't the kitchen, it's the waiter, the way to ask. Once you see the API as the connection, the in-between, a lot clicks. When someone says the app talks to the database through an API, you will think, right, the API is the waiter in the middle. Simply put, an API isn't the thing you are getting, it's the way to ask. Remember the definition from the start? Application Programming Interface. It's an interface, a way to interact, a doorway between programs. It was never as complicated as it sounded. If you can explain the restaurant, customer, waiter, kitchen, you can explain the API. That's it. If this helped, this is what this channel is for. Tech that sounds crazy, made simple. Subscribe to the channel, and I will quietly show up in your next video.